DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? It's Friday, so I know what that means. We're here for Q&A. This is Q&A number 15. The video you're watching right now, I'm recording this Friday afternoon. So by the time you see this video, NBA playoff games may have already started. So hopefully y'all enjoying the games. Like I said, it's Friday, so I can't say nothing about anything. Games ain't start yet. And let's get right into it. I ain't got nothing else to say. Y'all seen the videos I put out. You've seen the NBA playoff preview. And everything else you need to know about. I done put a video out about it this week, the $500,000 tournament. I'm still looking to put a team together, so still up in the air what I'm going to do with that, because I need players. Big men, not guards. So please don't recommend no guards to me. I don't need them. And that's it. Let's get right into it. Don't waste no time. First question is Kex in Maleko. He says, while doing drills, do you have a goal of number of make shots, or do you do the drills until you think you improved a move? It can be either way. Kex. Sometimes I do a certain number of reps. Sometimes you can even do it to time. Sometimes you could do it to a certain number of attempts if you're shooting from the outside. And sometimes I could just do the same thing over and over again until I feel like stopping. So it could be any one of those. Ray G says, what are some good indoor basketball drills I can do? Ray G's, I got 3,000 drills posted on YouTube, so I don't understand what you mean. Elias Money 12 says, Dre, do I do the moves? He says, can I do the moves they do on M1 basketball mixtapes? If so, can I make a video for it, like some hot sauce shit? No, I do not do moves that, like, I'm going to assume you mean moves like the stuff they do that's kind of like the quote-unquote tricks, things that would technically be illegal, but they do it and it's entertaining to watch. I don't do that stuff. Anything I'm going to do in basketball is going to be completely legal that you could do in a regular basketball game with refs and all that. So no hot sauce shit is happening over here. GM Canlad says, if Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather ever fight, who do I think will win and why? I think Floyd will win because I think Floyd's better. Pat says, Dre, I want to let you know that I am his biggest inspiration. So, well, thank you, Pat. I'm happy to be. Hopefully continue to be. He says, in my opinion, do I find playing outdoors to be worse on your knees? Well, Pat, that's kind of a person by person situation. If you're asking me personally, for me, yes, but I'm probably a lot older than you are. I'm 32 years old, so I got a lot of miles on my legs. So I don't do anything. I don't do any kind of running and jumping on concrete for the most part because it's not good for my knees. But if you're in your teens, it probably doesn't. You probably don't feel it at all. Like, and understand another thing. I grew up playing basketball on concrete every single day. I spent hours and hours practicing on concrete. I ran miles on concrete. I played basketball on concrete. So if you like 16, concrete is not going to do anything negative to you in general. Now, as I said, every person's body is different. So it might be some 16-year-old out there whose knees feel like a 35-year-old's knees. So because our bodies are all different. So it's not a one-size-fits-all answer to that question. But if you're in your teens, the concrete's not going to do anything negative to you in general, I'll say. But for me personally, I stay off of concrete because, like I said, I'm probably like twice your age, Pat. Kyle Collier says, thanks for all the tips. It's made him a better player. Well, you're welcome, Kyle. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully you keep getting better as I keep putting out content because I got more to go. EZiggy1000 says, do I think Stephen Curry is the best shooter ever? Do I think there's someone better? I think he can go down as the best shooter ever. I mean, he hasn't been in the league long enough for me to say he's the best ever. There's other people who are up there in that category. I say like a Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen. Even though Steph broke the regular season record last year, those guys did it just as well, just as a close level right up there, and they did it for way longer. So I think if he keeps doing it, like, I don't know how long he's been in the league, maybe 3-4 years. If he can do it for 10 plus years, then I think, yeah, he'll go down as the greatest shooter. But he got to get, longevity means something. Like, the length of your career matters. So somebody who does it for 4 years, you compare it to somebody that did it for 10 or 15 years. I think the 10 or 15 years is more impressive because they did it for longer. They were more consistent for a longer period. So I think if he keeps going, he will go down as the best shooter. But right now, if he quit right now, no, I would not give him that title. I'd go with a Larry Bird or Reggie or Ray Allen, probably one of those three. Saraku15 says, my left knee aches when I play ball outside, mostly when it's cold. Is this jumper's knee? I don't believe I've ever had it before, so warming up and stretching before a workout help. Well, Siraku, one thing we do have for Jumper's Knee, if you go to dreallday.com/Jumper's Knee, dreallday.com/Jumper's Knee, there is a program that Jacob from Jump Manual put together that will help you with your Jumper's Knee, completely eradicate the situation. I can't diagnose what the issue is with your knee just off that information, and even if I had more, I'm not qualified to diagnose what's wrong with your body, so I'm really the wrong person to ask. But if you're having aches in your body, you should definitely try incorporating some warming up and stretching. It can't hurt. I never heard anybody making an injury or pain worse by warming up and stretching, so you should get at it, try, see what happens. But check out the link that I just gave you. The Bionic King IDA says, have I ever dunked on somebody? I think I got this question like 4 weeks straight. Yes, I have dunked on people plenty of times. Champs All Day says, any tips on inside scoring? Champs, you got to ask me a more specific question than that. I mean, of course, since you're here, you've seen that I put videos out every day. So if you want some tips on something, ask me a specific question. I can give you a specific answer. But this is a very broad, general question. Lakers fan 2409 says, I really inspire him to keep playing basketball. I'm happy to hear that, Lakers fan. He says, thanks very much for that. Am I going to try with a team right now or just try out for the D-League? Right now, everything's wide open as far as what I'm going to do professional playing wise. Everything's wide open. It's not anything I'm saying I'm not going to do. It's not anything I'm guaranteed to say I am going to do. So we will see what happens. It's all wide open. I am still playing, still game shape and all that. So we'll see what happens. Chris Smooth Lover says, I love everything you do. You help my game so much. Thanks a lot. You're welcome, Chris. I'm glad to hear that. He says, were three-point jumpers a strong point in your game, or did I drive the lane a lot? Well, Chris, you're asking these questions in the past tense as if I don't play anymore. I still play. So, I mean, you see the videos, right? And I do both. I mean, I shoot from the outside and I drive to the basket. If you watch my most recent games where I'm actually playing against people, you go look at my one-on-one playlist, the one-on-one breakdowns videos, and my full games, like full court 5-on-5 games. You see the game where I was in Europe this past fall. That was the last like serious 5-on-5 game I played in. You can see the way I play. I shoot from the outside and I go inside. So I do both. Deshaun Tell, he says he saw one of my ball handling videos where I said if you do the exercise 100 times a day for 5 years, you'll get handles. And he says, would you get the same result if you do them each 500 a day for 1 year? Well, Deshaun, I don't know. I never tried that. So why don't you give it a try? And a year from now, you will let us know if it worked. But the thing is, Deshaun and everyone else, you got to understand that once you do develop good ball handling skills, whatever you consider good, I mean, because there's no real way to measure what's good and what's not good. It's just whatever people feel about themselves. You don't stop practicing. It's not like you can do it every day for a year, 500 a day for a year, and then say, all right, I'm good. I'll never need to dribble again in my life, because the skills will erode. So you got to keep practicing. So when I say 100 a day for 5 years, people are like, wow, I got to do it every day for 5 years, like as if it's too much. Excuse me, as if it's too much time. But I mean, where are you going? How long you plan on being a basketball player? Is there a point you think you're gonna have to stop practicing? There is no point in a basketball career where you stop practicing. So when I say 5 years and you 19, so do you plan on quitting by the time you 27? That's 8 years from now. You still gonna have to keep practicing every day as long as you plan on being a good player. So there is no end to it. So I want people to really understand it. It's like running on the treadmill. It honestly is. If you're gonna be a good player at a high level and stay at your high level and keep moving up or whatever, there's no point in which you stop practicing. So when I say 5 years, I don't understand why people balk at that as if they're in a rush to go somewhere else. I mean, if you're gonna be good, it never ends. Zombie Ops 3 says, best position on the court. That's his whole question, best position on the court. I don't understand the question. You got to clarify, Zombie. CSRM 139 says, ever played at Rucker Park or Dykeman in NYC? No, I have not. 99 Able 1 says, who's my favorite player? Michael Jordan. Steve Rosemont says, what do I think about the Vertimax machine? Have I used it before? I don't have an opinion on the Vertimax because I have never used it. I have heard of it, but I can't tell you anything about it because I've never used it myself. Richie McCarthy says, is it okay if I can mix and match different drills from, he's using the Kyrie Irving signature moves hoop handbook? And yes, Richie, it is okay if you mix them. I mean, the program is written out specifically in a way for you to follow, but if you want to do it a different way, I mean, nobody can stop you, so sure. TJH364 says, what I think of Houston this year, the Houston Rockets. TJH, look at the playoff preview video that came out today, which is Friday. So by the time you see this, that means it came out yesterday. So see that video. I just put it up. Houston is mentioned. Fat Boy Live says, I hear people saying the NBA is soft today. I think this is bullshit. What is my opinion? I've never heard anybody say that, Fat Boy Live. I mean, people say kind of compared to back in the day, like when it was more physical and there were less fines and things like that. I think it's more kind of the legislation, like the fines and the refereeing and the rules. I don't think the players necessarily. I think the players just adjust to the way the game is officiated. So I don't think necessarily the players are soft. It's just the way it's legislated. Ty Breezy says, do I think it's better for him to get the Rose or Curry or Kyrie signature workout programs from Hoop Handbook, or should he get a customized workout program from the site where I make customized programs? For those of you who don't know, that's workonyourgame.ga.me. So workonyourga.me, work on your game. So he's asking, is it better to get one of the signature programs off Hoop Handbook or to get a custom program from the Work on Your Game site? What do I think is better? Well, Ty, honestly, I mean, either way, you get a program that I put together, so I don't think you can go wrong either way. So just pick one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, just pick one. I'm pretty sure you're going to get results whichever way you choose. Doesn't matter. If you're looking for something that is specifically about you and that nobody else is going to be able to use, it's only going to be for you, then it'd be the customized site, Work on Your Game, ga.me. Jai Singh says, did I play college ball? Jai, yes, I did play college ball. If you go to my website, dreallday.com, you can read about everywhere I've ever played. I've written about on my website, dreallday.com. Jack Hankins says, do I prefer playing one-on-one or a full 5-on-5 game? I prefer both. I mean, if you're a basketball player, you probably like any form of game. 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5, one-on-none by yourself, or whatever. Ahmed Masood says, who do I think is the best center in the NBA? Right now, at this exact moment today, the day before the NBA playoffs start, the best center in the NBA probably have to go with Joakim Noah. Basically, with the way he performed this season, he'd be the best center right now. But in terms of talent, there could be a lot of different people, but nobody jumps out at me. There's no one person that just stands out above everybody right now. So, but if I had to pick one guy right now, I'd go with Joakim Noah. Muha Lizde says, do I get a gym to myself when I'm doing videos? No, there are other people in the gym all the time. Sometimes not, but many times there are. You just don't see them because you're looking at me. Joey Colley says, in my opinion, who's the best player from the 2011 draft class? Well, Joey, I wish I could answer that, but you had to tell me who was in the 2011 draft class for me to be able to answer that, and I don't even know. Young Bigavelli says, does practicing at a park mess up your game in the gym? Why would it? I don't see any reason why practicing at a park will have any effect on what you do in the gym. It's basketball. It's the same ball. The court's still 10 feet high. The rim is still the same circumference. So, no. Graham Hall says, if you could be GM of the Knicks, what would you do? If I could be GM of the Knicks, what would I do? I'd give myself a raise. That's the first thing I'd do. Isaiah Kelly says, who would I pick to win, the 2012 Olympic team or a 1992 Dream Team in a game? I'll go with the 92 Dream Team. Zombie Ops says, Carmelo versus Durant in a three-point contest. Who will win? Who cares? The Jaywalk 1234 says, playing on the outside court bad for players' knees. All right, so a bunch of people are asking about this. And I already answered that question, Jaywalk. So you just listen to the answer I gave earlier in the video. It's the same question that you asked, so the same answer applies. Ian Sexton says, ever considered doing a manual strictly on defense? Ian, yes, I've done a mini handbook called the Defensive Mini Hoop Handbook that is available right now on hoophandbook.com. If you go to the website, you can even use the search bar up top. Just type in defense and you'll see it. It's right there. So it's already available. It's been there for Defense Mini Handbook. Has been there for a while. Jace Shilcutt says, their Hoop Handbook program specifically just for shooting. And Jace, yes, there is. If you go to the Hoop Handbook website again and just type in the search bar shooting, you'll see the program. It's right there. Jeezy Dog PSN says, how do I deal with my parents telling me I suck and I won't go to the NBA? Jeezy, your parents really actually said that to you, that you suck and then you won't go to the NBA? I don't think that they did. But if they did, or anybody else did, or you feel that way, I think that might be more you thinking at yourself than your parents. So really, you need to deal with yourself and not project that issue on anyone else. But in any regard, no matter who said it, you or anybody else, go to my website, go to the page. It's called Guides, Tips, and Help. I think I'll probably have an annotation for that up here somewhere. Click on that annotation, go to that page on my website, and I write about all of that stuff. The mental side, dealing with parents, dealing with coaches, everything's covered on that page on my website. Just read the whole website. Griffiths DR says, how would you deal with playing on a team that doesn't know how to play basketball, like a rec team? Well, Griffiths, all you can do is control yourself. You can't really control what other people do, especially on a rec team. Like if y'all don't have practices, y'all don't have a coach, you can't really tell people what to do. They don't have any incentive to listen to you. So all you can do is control your performance. And if it's really killing you that much, you don't like it, stop playing with them, go play somewhere else. You are free to go do that. Subhan PG says, I like the video we talked about overdosing on confidence. That's one of the weekly motivational videos. If any of you missed it, go to my motivation playlist. I got over 200 motivational videos posted. So I actually started a second playlist now because there's only 200 videos per playlist. Anyway, he says, it helped him a lot. Thank you. So you're welcome, Subhan. And he says, my question is, do you have any mental exercises that can help you stay in that zone? Quote unquote. I got into that zone before, but it's hard to stay in that zone. What do you usually do? Any mental exercises? Subhan, I just put out a video about a week and a half ago where I talk about that. It is called More Thoughts on the Zone and on the mental game. So just search that or go to my channel, go to the videos page and just scroll down and look and you'll see that video. It's about, with the pace that I put out videos, probably about 20 to 30 videos back from this one. So if you just go backwards, you'll see that video where it's called More Thoughts and Tips on Getting into the Zone. And you can see the stuff that I said about that because I cover that a lot. And also if you go to my website, on the guides and tips page, I talk about the mental game. I got a whole page dedicated to the mental game. And also wrote a book on the mental game. If you go to dreallday.me, that's my author website, I got a book called The Mental Handbook. Well, that's exactly what I talk about. So you can check that book out along with that video and along with my website. Keyvon Wesley. No, he didn't actually ask a question. Tristan Stevens says, I've tried to practice dribbling outside multiple times, but I just annoy the neighbors. Should I care what they think? Well, Tristan, that ain't really a basketball question. I mean, I guess you should care if they might complain, tell your parents or something to tell you to stop dribbling the ball. So I guess in a way that does matter. You should probably ask your parents if you should care. I think they'd be the best people to answer that question. Aaron Williams says, I'm 14, about 5 feet 11 inches tall. I just recently transferred to a D1 team. It's pretty small size-wise, but it's very talented. And I'm going to have to play center. So I guess he's talking about high school. I'm going to have to play center. He used to be like a point forward, but because of his team, he has to play center. But I'm not very strong. And there are huge centers I'm going to be matched up against. He's going to get out-muscled. How do I gain strength so I can compete on the low block? Well, Aaron, at age 14, you could get an introduction to strength training. It's not like a 30-second soundbite I can give you right now as an answer that's going to make you strong out of nowhere. You got to actually build the basis of strength. First of all, it starts with functional strength and strength with your body, knowing how your body works. That's body weight strength you need to work on. And then you can actually touch equipment when we're talking about weights and things like that. My answer would be check out the programs we got at hoophandbook.com. They're written by my trainer, not written by me, but written by my trainer, a person who's certified in helping athletes build their bodies. Her name is Maria Solon-Scally. The programs are Ultimate Athlete and Position of Power. And you can read about both of those programs in detail on the site. But as far as your situation right now, like let's say you had to go play in a game tomorrow, you should use, since you used to playing a point forward, use your quickness, use your size. Your quickness, and not try to use your size. If the guys are bigger and stronger than you and you try to fight them with strength and they're bigger than you, you're going to lose. So use your quickness. Get in front of guys. Get between the man and the ball. Try to front them. Use your jumping ability, however much you have. Stay low. Try to attack their dribble. If they put the ball on the floor, box out. It doesn't matter how big you are. Anybody can box out. And in general, stop focusing on what they're so good at and why they're going to beat you, because all you're telling me here is why they're going to beat you. So you need to get yourself out of that mindset completely. Mind over matter. Put yourself in the mindset that you're better than them and what advantages you have instead of all the disadvantages that you're facing, because that's all you're talking about right now, and that's what's going to end up manifesting itself. If that's all you're thinking about. Nishant Vyas says, Dre, first off, I want to say your inspiration to me. I really look up to you as a role model. Thank you, Nishant. I'm appreciative. He says, my question is, I often get tired during the game. What can I do to improve my conditioning? Well, Nishant, you can do the things that coaches would make you do if you were on a team, stuff that a lot of players don't want to do on their own, but if you want to get in good condition, do the stuff that the coach makes you do when you're on a team, which is, y'all know what coaches make y'all do. Run 17s, which is sideline to sideline 17 times. Suicides, full court wind sprints. Y'all already know this stuff. If any of you ever played on a basketball team, you know the stuff the coach makes you do that you would not do on your own. You need it. That's the reason the coach makes you do it, because that's how you get in shape, conditioning. And I have a conditioning mini hoop handbook posted at hoophandbook.com. Just like we got defense, we got conditioning. So you can get that program there, and y'all already know some of the things. Y'all know what a suicide is. You know what a wind sprint is. Just with those two exercises alone, if you do enough of them, you can get yourself in shape. But you have to be self-disciplined enough to make yourself do them when nobody else is making you do it. So that's the answer to your question. Super Saiyan 1911 says, do I think anybody in a couple years would pass Steph Curry for most threes in a season? I think maybe Steph Curry might beat his own record. I think he is a good candidate to do that just because he's a scorer who happens to be a great shooter, because he has the ball in his hands a lot. When you got a guy who's a great shooter, like a spot-up guy, you look at like a Ray Allen or a Kyle Korver, those guys, they don't have the ball in their hands as much because they're not the main guy on offense. Steph Curry's the main guy. He can handle it, and he's a three-point shooter at the same time. I think Steph Curry is the guy. I think he has the best chance of breaking his own record in the future. Jacob Wilson says, Jay, I'm a big fan of your work. Thank you, Jacob. And he says, are calf raises the best way to gain muscle to your calves without using weights? Well, Jacob, there isn't really a best way to gain muscle because, as I said before, every human being's body is different. So you have to see what works best for your body. There is no one-size-fits-all way that's guaranteed to work for you and everybody else. As one person, you could take some exercise and do it and get incredible results, whereas another person can do that exact same exercise and get no results at all. So you had to go and see what works. You had to try different things, try different techniques, go through trial and error, do the work, and see what results you get. And those are the results that work for you. They may not necessarily work for the next person. So each person has to do that work to find out where they get their results. Martin Evanow says, I think you should do a collaboration with the shooting coach from Pro Shot Shooting System. All right, Martin, we'll see what maybe we can get to come out of that. Thank you for the suggestion. Rob J says, what I think the Lakers need to come back stronger next year and potentially try a run for the title. Well, I think to make a run for the title, you need at least 2 All-Stars, and they're going to have Kobe. I think Kobe's going to come back. I think it'll be pretty good. We don't know exactly what Kobe we're going to get because he's missed a lot of time. He's had some serious injuries, but they'll have Kobe, and he's making a bulk of the money, so they need to free up some money. I think they got to get Steve Nash off the books, whether he plays or he doesn't play. Steve Nash pretty much got about 1 year left in his career because he just gets injured. When you just get injured, just running up and down the court, nobody's even touching you, but you just get injured, that means your body's telling you something. Steve Nash knows that. You know, seen it. I don't know if y'all seen it in Grantland. They did a little video series on Steve Nash, like the last leg of his career. He's pretty much done. So he's just getting injured, just run up and down the court. That means you're done. So they need to get his money off the books. He's making a lot of money next year. And Kobe's making a hell of a lot of money, so Kobe better be good. I don't think Pau Gasol is going to come back to the Lakers. And the Lakers are getting a lottery pick. We don't know who they're going to have, of course. That player needs to be pretty good. And they need another star. They need to bring in another star from who knows where, but they need to bring in somebody. I don't think the Lakers can make a run at the title next year. I think maybe in 2 years. 2 years from now, we don't know what Kobe's going to be. We know Nash will be gone. We don't know who this rookie's going to be. We don't know who the Lakers bring in via free agency. There's a lot of things the Lakers need. They need to build an entire roster. It's not just the stars and that rookie that they need. They need to build – all those role players matter. Like your top 9 guys got to be guys you can depend on, who can actually play. And this year they had a terrible roster. Like even last year when they had the big 4 guys, Nash, Powell, Kobe, and Dwight Howard, the rest of the roster around them was not good. You can't just have your stars and then just throw away the rest of the roster. You got to have good quality players around the stars to win. You look at a team like Miami, you look at a team like OKC, all the teams who compete who have those 2 superstars or 3 stars, the role players around them can actually play. So Lakers got to get some role players on top of getting the star players. So they need everything. And I think their front office needs to overhaul also. They blew it on Phil Jackson. Why, I don't know. I mean, their management, their front office is kind of messed up. You don't know who's really making the decisions there. The ownership between Jeannie and Jim Buss, I hear they don't even get along that well. They don't see eye to eye on everything. So I think their organization is kind of a mess right now. So we'll see. The Lakers always usually end up getting a star player somehow, some way. So let's see what they do. But do I think they can make a run at the title like before Kobe retires? Right now, no. But if they get the right player to come in, like a player who's already in the league right now to come to the Lakers, then everything could change. It's Blaze V2 says, do you think you can become great by learning basketball at a late age, around age 14? Well, yes, I do think you can become great at basketball. I mean, I started playing basketball at age 14. I don't know if you want to consider me great, but you can become good at basketball no matter when you start. I mean, if you want to put in the work and you believe in yourself, the most important part in this answer is, Blaze, that you have to believe in yourself. Is what that person, whoever you're talking about, that person, if they believe it, they can become great. I don't care if you start playing basketball at 19. If you believe you can become great, you can. If you start playing basketball at 3 years old and you don't believe you can become great, I don't care how much time you spend on the court, you won't if you don't believe it yourself. So you have to believe it yourself more than any other factor plays a role. Philip Matthias says, I'm a team baller, I work hard in the gym, but I need to get better physically to get to the next level. How much time should I dedicate to physical training compared to skills training? Thanks, you inspired me to work hard. Well, you're welcome, first of all, Philip. As far as your question goes, I mean, I've covered this before in video, and people ask me, how many hours you spend in the gym. I don't really have an answer for that. It's undefined, because it's not really about how much time you spend lifting or how much time you spend shooting or dribbling or whatever you're doing on the court. It's about what you get done while you're doing that stuff. I'm sure all of you heard these analogies before. 30 minutes of hard work is better than 3 hours of bullshit. All you already know that. So it's not about how much time you're spending. Another video I made where people was asking me, what do you do first between lifting weights and working on the court? I've already put that video out. This is maybe a year ago I made that video. But what you need to understand is whatever sport you play, your training in that sport is your top priority. So if you're a tennis player, you think about tennis players, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, golfers, all of those sports, all of those athletes do strength training. So you can walk into a weight room and see athletes from each one of those sports and their strength training. But understand that whatever sport you play, that is your number one priority. Because no matter how much strength you gain, how fast you are, how many muscles you put on your body, if you're a football wide receiver and you can't catch no more, I don't care if you got the most muscles of everybody in the locker room. If you can't catch the ball, you're no use to the team. If you're a basketball player, you're a shooter, and you can't hit jump shots, I don't care how much muscle you got, they don't need you no more because you're not doing the thing that they brought you there for. So understand that skill development and the ability to play your sport is your top priority. You can still do the other thing, but you just have to balance it out, basically. And the thing with adding strength, I know there's a myth out there that some players think if they get too strong or they lift weights, it's going to mess up their jump shot. That's bullshit. It's just a weak excuse made up by players pass that excuse down through generations of players who don't want to lift weights. I've known players, good players, who don't lift weights, and I say, why you ain't lifting? They like, it's going to mess up my shot. And I know it's bullshit because I lift weights, and I can make outside shots. Y'all seen my videos. So lifting weights is not going to mess up your shot or your handle or none of that. All it's going to do is just something else that you got to do, more work you got to do. And some people just don't want to do extra work. That's just the bottom line. Y'all know that. Y'all know people who just don't want to do extra work. They just want to do the things that are fun, and they don't want to do anything that's difficult. And strength training is difficult if you've never strength trained before, because you walking in there and you don't know shit. You feel like a dumbass because everybody else know what they're doing. You don't know anything. But that's what you got to go through if you want to get good at it. So to answer your question in general, Philip, there is no real time frame. It's not about time. So stop looking at the clock. You look at the clock if you got somewhere to be, but don't look at it as if, oh, all right, I got to lift for 90 minutes. That don't prove anything. All that matters is results at the end of everything. So focus, first of all, prioritize your sport, which is you're a basketball player. And even if you do decide to strength train, as you're strength training, you're still on the court all the time, whether it's 3 days, 5 days, 7 days a week. So as your body develops through the strength training, your body is also adjusting because you're on the court. So neither one is going to mess up the other. So prioritize and just make it work for you. Kyle A says, I purchased jump manual and the exercises hurt my knees. Any help? Also, how many hours do you work in your game a day? Thanks, and you're awesome. First of all, thank you, Kyle. As far as how many hours do I work on my game a day, I just addressed that in the previous question. As far as the jump manual thing, see, the thing with the jump manual, if it's hurting your knees, then Kyle, I think the issue is probably your knees. It's not the program. It's when I used to talk about the Air Alert program. Because I've used the Air Alert program, I've used the jump manual program. The Air Alert program is very high reps. You do a whole lot of reps. I mean, hundreds of reps, even thousands of reps on some days of the program. And some people have said, well, doing all those reps is what messes up your knees. And I don't even agree with that part, because I think if doing all those reps is messing up your knees, then eventually you would have got to that many even without the program. So if your knees is hurting, then it's probably just your knees might not be made for basketball. And basketball is a sport that is heavy on running, jumping, and changing direction. All three of those things put an incredible amount of stress on the knee joint. So if your knees are bothering you from doing something like jump manual, and jump manual, all it does is simulate the movements of jumping. So if jumping is bothering your knees, then basketball just might not be for you. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily your situation, Cal, but you might need to take a look at that jumper's knee program, which I'm going to put an annotation to up here on this video. Take a look at that, and just take a look, analyze your body, try some other sports, try doing some other things and see if those things bother your knees or if they don't. But jump manual is not heavy on reps. It's not a high number of reps in jump manual. It's actually a very low number of reps. It's one of the things that Jacob emphasizes in the program, is that we don't want you doing too many reps, because then your body will start coasting. I don't want you to practice going at a moderate pace. I want you to practice going full out, exploding. So if your knees are bothering you, then maybe anything that has to do with jumping might not be for your body at this particular point in time. Joey Colley, you already asked me a question, Joey. We try to keep it to one question apiece so everybody can get their thing off here. The Annoying Agent says, if I could have season tickets for any basketball team, which one would I choose to watch? Probably go with the Miami Heat. They're the best team. They got the best player, and I like watching them, so I'll go with the Heat. Cole Boucher is saying something about Kyrie versus Wall one-on-one. I've already done a lot of one-on-one stuff, so I'm not really getting into the who would win and why and all that. I've done videos on that. Anthony Aguilar asked a similar question, Kobe versus LeBron. GM Ken Last says, who's my all-time starting five? I made a video about that a long time ago. Actually, not a long time ago, last year, so you can check that out. Daniel Boras says the tournament in Philly is going to be good. He's seen some good players in there. Good luck. Thank you, Daniel. Dmitry Tukovic says, I play good against my friends who are worse than me, but when I play against people who are better or people I don't know, I freeze up. He starts making mistakes. He's afraid to shoot. Thinks somebody's going to block a shot. He doesn't feel like that another time, so what's up with that? Well, first of all, Dimitri, hey, I can't really, you're asking me to explain your actions. You're asking me to explain your mentality in these games, and that's backwards. You should be explaining it to me. You're the one out there playing. You're the one out there doing these things, making these mistakes that you're describing. So if you don't know what's happening, then how do you expect anybody else to understand what's happening? You need to be providing some insight to everyone else rather than asking people to explain, why am I doing this? It's like if I go do something right now and then I come and make a video and ask everybody to tell me why I did it. And everybody's like, well, how the fuck would I know? You did it. You understand what I'm saying? Dimitri head. So first of all, you got to look into the mental side of yourself. This is not really something that I can explain to you. This is something that you got to look in the mirror and try to figure out. What is it you're doing differently in situation B that you weren't doing in situation A? If you go to my website, the guides and tips page, there will be an annotation up here for that, so you can check the annotation, guides and tips page on my website, and read about that. I cover the mental game in detail, every aspect of the game. I'm talking college basketball, pro basketball, off the court stuff, dealing with parents, dealing with school, on the court issues like the one you're talking about here. I've written about in detail multiple times on my website, so go check that out. RASP says, do I have any tips for really bad knee problems? My knees have been sore for a couple of weeks. They hurt every time I jump. I'm losing valuable basketball time. RASP, same answer. Check out that jumper's knee fix program that I had the annotation to here on this video. Lil Mo, Two more questions left, everybody. Lil Mo says, the fact that you're a college athlete, I want to know from you, should college athletes be paid? They already get a scholarship, but the school is making a lot more money off them. What is my answer to that? In life, as in the NCAA, you deserve what you accept. So when a college basketball player, now me, I went to a Division III college, so I didn't have a scholarship. And I'm talking about players who do have scholarships, is what you're asking me about. Athletes who generate money for their schools, they bring in money for their program should they get paid. When a college basketball player signs that scholarship, even a football player, when you sign that scholarship, it says you're going to get a free education, room and board, books, whatever amount of food, whatever. I know you just had the food thing. You can get as much food as you want. But it says on there, you're not getting paid any money. It says that on there. When you sign a scholarship with a college, that's a contract you sign. Every single player that's on a scholarship right now in the NCAA signed that contract. And when you sign it, you accept those terms. And those terms say you don't get paid, you agree to those terms. So that's what you agreed to, that's what you accepted, that's what you deserve. So when people say, oh, college athletes should get paid this much because they do this, that, and the third, understand that they accepted it. So if you accept something, that's exactly what you deserve. You can't accept $1 and then you say you sign a contract to get paid $1 for a year's worth of work, and then 6 months into the year you say, hey, I deserve $5, and we like, no, you signed a contract that said you accept $1. You signed it. You agreed to it. Now understand is a conglomerate. NCAA is a big, powerful program. So the only way anything's gonna get broken through with that, as far as athletes getting paid, if that ever happens, is some powerful athletes and some powerful people in general who maybe not be players, but get with the players and get the players on their side. They go up against the NCAA, who has a lot of money, a lot of power, and a lot of lawyers. They got to go up against them and break the system, but they have to go up against it to the point where what the players are accepting is a different deal. But right now, every athlete there agreed to it. So if you agree to something, you accept it, that's what you deserve. And that's not only in college basketball, it's not only with scholarships, it's not only with money, it's just general in life. If you accept certain terms and you allow it to be, that's what you deserve. Now, when you get to the point where you won't accept it anymore and you do something different, then different things happen. And we can talk about many different areas in life where people decide, you know what, I'm not accepting this anymore, and I'm going to do something about it. We get that when you see the American Revolution, when America fought for their independence against Britain. We got our independence. As we said, we're not accepting this anymore. We did something different. Any kind of wars that go on in the world, we don't like what's going on politically. We go to war, we win. Now we got different terms. You had the Civil War. We didn't like what was going on in the Confederacy. We fought, we won, and we changed it. We knocked down the Confederacy. So these are things that happen. It might take a revolution. It actually will take a revolution because you're going up against a very powerful force in the NCAA. They're very powerful. They've been around for a long time. It's a very hardened, rigid program. So the only way they're going to break it is by some powerful people coming together, deciding that they're not going to stand for it no more. They might have to make some sacrifices. Like in war, we sacrifice lives. We sacrifice bodies to win wars. We sacrifice land to win wars. So it's going to be some sacrifices that had to be made in order for that to happen. It can't just be people tweeting about it and talking shit and not putting nothing on the line. Somebody's got to put something on the line. A whole bunch of somebody's got to put something on the line and change the agreement, change the acceptance. Once the players understand they don't have to accept that anymore, then things will change. As long as players keep signing that contract that says no money, they deserve no money, period. Last question. Stone Pinto says, did I have a player I idolized growing up, or right now is there someone I model my game after? No, I didn't have any player I idolized. I mean, I had players I liked to watch, just like everybody else. You know, Michael Jordan. We're talking in the late 90s, early 2000s, Vince Carter, T-Mac, Kobe, Iverson, Shaq. All the normal, you know, the usual suspects. I wouldn't try to play like any of them because my body wasn't like any of those guys. So I might take bits and pieces. I might see a Jordan move or Iverson move or even something Shaq did and try to add it to my arsenal. And then I get to the point, once you develop your game more and more, for all you young players out there, develop your game more and more, you'll get to the point where you don't need to try to think to play like nobody else. Playing like you will be good enough. Playing like you will suffice. So try to get yourself to that point where it's like, yo, I'm trying to play like me. But you don't have to say, I want to play like that guy. When you got people looking at you and say, yo, I want to play like him. And when you get to that point, then you won't have to idolize nobody. People will be idolizing you. So that's it. Thank you everybody for the questions. This is Q&A number 15. Any of you got further questions, which I'm sure you will, leave them in the comments to this video. We'll get to it next week. NBA playoffs is going on either right now as we speak or they're coming up later today, depending on when this video comes out. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
This is Nightwing 2303 from kicksoncourt.com. Work on your game.